Welcome to your daily message, folks. I am using the Osho Zen Tarot today, and I've also laid out your cards into a Celtic cross formation. Your central theme is the Eight of Rainbows, and that is ordinariness. It's about appreciating every single little mundane task that we do in our everyday life. And that might be something that you're struggling with right now, because in your challenge position, your challenge card is the Ace of Clouds, and that is consciousness. This is being in a frame of mind where you can allow your mind not to rule. You make it a tool of yourself as opposed to your mind ruling you, according to the Osho Zen Tarot. So if you're struggling to get through your day because things are so boring, that's where your mind needs distraction, needs entertainment. It shouldn't be in charge. You should be in charge of it. So if you're in need of distraction, need of entertainment, it's your mind that needs to be brought to the moment. If you can focus on your breath, if you can focus on the minuteness of each task, even if it's doing laundry or doing the dishes, what can you do to adjust your frame of mindset so that it works for you and not the other way around? That's your central theme and your center card. There may be something about your situation as you are perhaps not recovering from a situation, but you're just going from day-to-day existence. And sometimes it's kind of a boring, trudging task, if you will. It doesn't have to be this way. Meditation is a mindset, and that's difficult. Osho Zen talks about a kind of no-mindedness, in the sense that you teach the mind to sit down, have a seat, and not just run around willy-nilly. Yesterday I pulled up the Knight of Clouds, and that was one card where it was constantly in a state of fight, if you will. This is the complete opposite. Absolute, total calm and ease in your day-to-day life. In your past, you have the Queen of Water. This is receptivity. Perhaps in your past, you've learned to receive and listen to whatever it is the universe has to say. Listen to what it is that others have to say. Maybe it's listening to what nature has to say. I'm getting that nature kind of feeling because of the ordinariness in the Eight of Rainbows. This figure's just going about their daily tasks, possibly through an orchard. If you can slow down your mind and just feel out your day, bit by bit, breath work, pranayama, I believe it's called, that's going to get you into a better state of no-mindedness, of listening to yourself, listening to your guides, listening to your ancestors. You've already kind of set the stage, but I get the feeling you're kind of bored, and teaching yourself to slow down is going to be key to living a fuller life. Once you learn to live a full day-to-day life, the rest of your life becomes more full as well. In your conscious position, you have 7, and that is awareness. The figure is slowly burning through a veil and headed on their way to being much more aware. They're letting go of old memories that no longer serve them, of pain that no longer serves them, of habits that no longer serve them, and they're being basically reborn into a different version of themselves. No-mindedness plays a role here too, because we're leaving behind old ways of thinking that are obsolete, that in fact harm us when we hold on to them and don't move forward without them. That's a kind of awareness that is a struggle for a lot of people to reach. Take your time with it. It's a step-by-step process. In your unconscious position, you have the slowing down card. This is the Knight of Rainbows. This is about understanding that your home is within yourself, is within your heart. And that is where love for self can start, for instance, is knowing that your home is on your back, so to speak, and you're taking yourself some beautiful places as long as you allow the universe to guide where you go. That can be a struggle too, but unconsciously, if you allow this particular stage of your life to develop, if you slow down with that ordinariness card, you can come to a place where you are more aware of the world around you and also more aware of how you can move into your highest self. In your future position, you have the moment-to-moment card, the Two of Rainbows. Moving into something really, really cool, kind of a childlike aspect where, once again, you go where the universe leads you and you don't put any of your preconceived notions on there. You don't put any of your ideas out there necessarily. You go where the universe leads you, and it might be a different place than you might have imagined, because here in your advice position, you have the Eight of Water, and that is letting go. So there's a drop of water coming down off of that lotus leaf that is about to hit the water. And once it actually hits the water, it becomes something different. It becomes part of the whole. Letting go is a process, especially if you've been through some really dark days, for instance. That's going to be a process. Letting go of memories of old thought patterns that no longer serve you can be really hard work for a lot of people, and lots of people don't actually get there. In your environment position, you have the Nine of Clouds. That is sorrow. This particular monk is depicting a cousin of Buddha, and after Buddha's death, the cousin was in a deep state of pain, not because of the passing of his cousin, the Buddha, but because he had not yet reached enlightenment. And so he used his pain for not having used enlightenment to actually get to enlightenment a while after his cousin's death. I can see that you're in a deep state of pain right here. If you can turn around onto your pain and get to its root causes and sit with the pain, you feel it and therefore you heal it. This is absolutely something that should be done with a therapist. This is hard work, being in this state, focusing on your pain until it comes to a healing place, until you come into a healing place. That is a hard process, and it will be shorter for some and longer than for others. This is a place where you need to reach out to a therapist so that you can get there as healthily as possible. Your mental health is still key here. Your hopes and your fears are of traveling, and that's not at all a physical journey. That is the pilgrimage that we take as spiritual beings, as mental, emotional beings, for instance. If you're afraid of this journey, if you're afraid of what you're going to meet, still stay on the road and keep going. And of course, there's also this hope for spiritual expansion. This is all about the pilgrimage. This is all about the journey. It is not at all to do with the destination. Life is our pilgrimage. Life is our journey, if you will. And I can see how very possibly you might just flat out be afraid of living, perhaps separate from these old ways of thinking that no longer serve you. It's a process, and that doesn't mean that you're going to be perfect. All it means is that you stay the course and keep walking down the path that you're meant to go, that you keep progressing as a spiritual being, even when you are afraid of pain, for instance, of spiritual pain. You still need to keep going, because life does not reward spiritual, emotional, mental stagnancy. It rewards progress in all those areas. For your outcome, you have 19. also known as the Sun card in the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith, but it's innocence here. This is an elder who has gone back to thinking of the world in kind of a childlike way because he's been through a lot. He's worked through a lot, and he's earned this particular stage where he can look at something as simple as a praying mantis here and look at it from the eyes of a kid who's seeing a praying mantis for the first time. That is part of the pilgrimage, one of the rewards of being on the pilgrimage of life, of continuing to up-level yourself in spite of all the obstacles that are thrown in your path. There's something to be said for a reward that includes looking at life with childlike eyes as if you've never seen it before, with innocence. Together with the letting go card in your advice position, together with your future position with moment to moment and the innocence, what you can do to reach that innocence stage of looking at the world with childlike eyes and enjoying the world as a kid would. Everything's new, everything's cool, that kind of thing. Letting go and living life moment to moment throughout this journey that we call life is going to be key to enjoying your life while you live it. And also to not necessarily being reincarnated onto Earth. The thing is, if we reach enlightenment, if we reach consciousness, we don't need to be reincarnated. We can move into a state of being that has nothing to do with existing on Earth. It's existing on some other plane, possibly as a god, for instance. And that's just for instance. It will be different for everybody, depending on your beliefs. The point is to not be reborn onto this life. The point is to reach nirvana. It is to reach enlightenment and not be reborn on this planet, because by then we will have learned our lesson and become someone else. So no more cards for this particular reading. I hope that it was helpful. I would love to know your thoughts down in the comments below if you feel like sharing them. Otherwise, I hope you have a great rest of your day. Take care.